Hi guys, it's Marenghi here. I hope you're doing well. Today I would like to talk to you about a good LSD trip. I already made a video on a bad LSD trip. So in the interest of fairness, I want to describe the best one that I had. So my friends and I, two friends, got it was basically a sort of small cabin / caravan in a field in the middle of nowhere. There was no one else around, and it was autumn, but for the trip day, a miraculous stroke of luck, which doesn't happen often by definition, it was sunny for the actual trip day, and the weeks before that and the weeks after that was sort of English, grey and rainy, slate grey Victorian skies and all that. So obviously, if you're taking, I wouldn't call it a heroic dose, as Terence McKenna used to call high doses of psychedelics, but it was enough to rearrange things, let's say. And when you take such a dose, there is like with MDMA, a slightly uncomfortable phase. Hopefully not too long before you get to the glory, So I remember it kicking in. Just looking at my friends. This is the sort of thing that might put you off psychedelics if you've never done them, but please don't let it, because when it goes well, it is truly, truly amazing. Anyway, but it's kicking in, and and I just can't get comfortable. I'm just, oh my god, I just can't stand here. That's too weird. Can't sit here. I'm too full of energy and restless. Looking at my friends, who were sort of just like. One of them sat down sort of like this. Anyway, slowly, tiny bit of weed, tiny bit of Valium, got into the right kind of zone, and there was there was a stone wall near this cabin that must have been no more than 10 meters long, and a slight gradient hill, a hill with a slight gradient that it was on, very slight like that. Anyway, as you know, if you take a psychedelic, you lose all concepts, and we were just referring to the hill as the hill at the time. And at the time, it seemed like Everest or something. Anyway, so then it started getting nice, and you just overcome with laughter, and the sun came out. I remember being stood looking out over the English countryside in the sun, and I honestly had what I can only describe as an ego death, like a complete dissolution of my tiny little ego, and I remember it now. It was like just a overwhelming wash, amazing energy up and down me, and seeming to be going into the grass and the trees as well. And of course, in the molecular realm, in the atomic realm, we are, one with everything. The molecular dance, as Eckhart Tolle, who's not a scientist, but it's a beautiful phrase, puts it. So that was pretty good. Just being able to stood there and just waves of glorious ecstasy. Sort of a bit like ecstasy, but far more profound and pleasurable and deep, and with no come down in sight, And that was just amazingly therapeutic and healing. And then this is what made me think about archetypes, because my friend and I were just stood laughing hysterically, as you do. Not sure about what, but everything was just so beautiful and pleasurable and funny. And then my other friend was sat on this wall, and I looked at him, and sometimes it's hard to even speak if you're on psychedelics, but just completely instinctively and with no pretense on my part and no thinking, I just said, let's go and speak to the wise man. My friend did look like he was about 30, but he had a bit of a beard, not grey at all, but he had this sort of like shaggy shepherd, slightly scruffy thing going on. And he looked like this wise shepherd sat on the wall that you could go and seek wisdom from. But I just remember, it was as if there was an old wizard on the wall, and I'd said, let's go and talk to the wise man. And the wise man is one of the archetypes that Carl Jung talked about, and other people as well. Excuse me 1 second. This is my coffee cup from the Islam and Coffee videos. Not nervous about those. Okay, so we asked him some questions, and I can't remember what they were or the answers, but they seemed profound and had us in hysterics. Maybe they were profound, who knows. And then we went, it was glorious by now. The sun was out, just this overwhelming feeling of peace and beauty. I'm like, oh, awe, and reverence and transcendence, and it was really amazing. And we went and stood near this shed, which isn't a shed, obviously, when you're on LSD. And I remember just looking at the wood and touching the wood, and obviously wood is alive, and it never really dies, say, a guitar or something, or a shed. The metal and the wood of the shed, the hinges and the little metal panels and the planks of wood, seemed exactly the same as the grass and my friend, in terms of them being them vibrating, them pulsating with life, which of course they are, but we don't normally notice that kind of thing. And again, a total sense of oneness, like everything there was no separation between me and that, and me and them and that and that and them, and I just remember thinking that the metal was as conscious even, or part of consciousness, or part of the same organism as the earth, which it is, obviously. But you really realise that on LSD. Anyway, then, you sort of wander off. My friends were inside, I think, or somewhere else, and I was walking up and down this wall. This was possibly the highlight of my life, which might sound like I haven't lived, but I was walking up and down this wall and having what I would describe as life orgasms. I was just getting wave after wave of, and not the kind of artificial, slightly plasticky, nasty pleasure you can get with MDMA, say, but just completely natural, glorious. I felt my brain being sort of beautifully massaged and deep scrubbed. And indeed, the next day I did wake up with it was like my brain was cool and everything was at one. There was no stress or tension or anxiety, and it was all just fresh. And the whole trip I got this a few weeks before. I put my hand in my pocket and my Oyster card had gone up my thumbnail. I thought, oh, and it hurt a bit, and it gradually just grew to this disgusting purple and red infected thumb, which was making me doubt whether to do the trip. But luckily I didn't look at it until right at the end of the trip, which made me a bit stupid. Anyway, I sort of forgot about that, surprisingly. I'm walking up and down this wall, just having powerful insight after insight after insight about physical pain and family and my own psychology and where I want to go in life and things I regretted, things I was proud of. Just an overwhelmingly beautiful and peaceful clarification of all kinds of things. Life orgasms, and I was incredibly mindfulness, taking in deep breaths, and I was like breathing in the whole countryside and breathing out again, breathing out the whole countryside. It was so therapeutic, and I stood just gazing into the distance, and I had a vision. I've never had a vision like this before, but I kind of saw hunched over people in a snowy, war-torn landscape, dressed in rags, stumbling along, struggling humanity. It was almost enough to make me believe in the collective unconscious. Like I got a glimpse into that, and I remember, because my thumb was hurting a bit, and I got this vision of these people say what they had to do, and this happened plenty of times. Ridiculously long marches with no food and inadequate clothing, forced at gunpoint and stuff, and people just barely standing, but just still going forward, hunched over. Loads of people, and blizzardy, foggy. It was very vivid. I can still recall it now perfectly. And I remember just thinking, whatever physical pain you get, carry on. And it was just a without doubt, unquestionable realization that I got. So that was pretty amazing. And then, this is the final chapter. So all this was, I can't describe. I was just so happy and at peace. Seeing some insects on the window, and you don't just see insects, you see individuals, and you notice the dynamics between them and who's in charge of who and who's annoyed at who and all this stuff. And looking at the stars, so it's like high definition as opposed to slightly fuzzy, which we have normally. And just, God knows what I saw, but planets, planes, stars, shooting stars in the countryside as well, so you could actually see things. And then we sat in the log cabin and put on Bob Dylan's Theme Time Radio Hour, where, if you don't know, Bob Dylan is the host and picks a theme. That the particular theme was tobacco, and every song was these old, beautiful, rare songs about smoking or cigars or chewing tobacco or whatever. And you know what I mean if you've taken it, but it was like Bob Dylan was in the room because everything was so enhanced. And I still remember the Sam Cooke song, Smoke Rings, you know, puff, 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 which some of you will giggle at, me too if I was watching this, but you know what I mean, that sort of puff. And I was visualising the smoke rings and just been totally 100% drawn in to Bob Dylan there, seeing us through the trip, and it was glorious. This, you know, this cosy cabin. You know, pick your favourite PG or Hollywood film with the cosy cabin family scene where everything's okay, and it was that, and all these beautiful songs that I still remember so vividly. These songs, somewhere I haven't listened to again since or before, just once, and it was like the people were in the room. You know what I mean? Anyway, and then I realised it was great. And then I couldn't sleep because my thumb was in such agony because God knows what I've been doing with it in the trip. And I actually went to hospital the next day and got it painfully sorted out. But yeah, apart from that, even that was fine though, because my mind was so clear and deep cleansed and free of insecurities, free of anxiety, and free of depression, and free of anger, and free of tension. It was really, really amazing. As Sam Harris put it, meditation is like raising a gentle sail. Gently raising a sail, sorry. And psychedelics are strapping yourself onto a rocket. And when it goes well, you can get to the highest point. Cheating, as it were. But yes, that was really amazing. I don't know if I'll do psychedelics again because of my derealization and stuff, and the bad trip I had, which, until you have one, until you have one. I'll leave it there, I think. Check out my other videos, please. Subscribe to my channel if you like this. Share it on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whatever you're on. If you're whatever drug you're on, whatever channel you're on, whatever seat you're on, whatever mood you're in, please share this, like this, subscribe this, my other videos on derealization, depression, Islam, Rod Stewart, filthy jokes, my poetry being read out by me, nothing pretentious about that, links to my music below, and that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there because we've hit 30 minutes and this is getting too long. Alright guys, take it easy, bye.